Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit weird, a little bit uncomfortable, and I might ramble on for a little while, but I feel like this is a topic that is very important, especially to me, and that topic is depression. And not just like the normal depression, maybe, I don't even know if you should say normal, but like a depression that is onset by like one event, like oh yeah, maybe you had a friend die or something like that, and that made you depressed for a little while, made you sad for a couple months. But what I'm talking about is severe chronic depression, and severe being to the point of suicide, and chronic being longer than a year, let's say, like longer than a few years. For me personally, it was around 7 or 8 years. I was depressed for about that long, and I just want to like walk you through some of the steps that I took to finally get over my depression, because I was getting to the point of thinking that it would never go away. I thought that it would just be something that I live with forever, and in a way it is, but I'll get to that later. And I'm just gonna go through step by step, like what I started with, because at some point in my life, I was just like, this can't be it. This can't be it. I was so suicidal. I was abusing so many different substances to like cope with the pain and what I was feeling, that I thought that there was no possible way that this would ever go away. But one day I finally decided, I'm like, this isn't gonna be it. This is not gonna be my life. I'm finally going to do something about it. So that's what I did. And the first thing is I stopped abusing drugs. So what I was doing to cope with my pain is I was taking a lot of amphetamines and things that would like just make me energized, give me energy. Things that I could be anything. I don't really want to get into the details. I don't want to incriminate myself or anyone, but just anything that would give me energy. And it's one of the things I would take. I would do a lot is drink. I would drink a lot because it made me happy. It made me happy for a temporary amount of time. And I can say that drinking and drugs and all these things are just band-aids. They're just band-aids on top of a very deep problem. And you know how I said like the depression that I had, and that I know a lot of people that I know also have, is it's not just based on one thing. It's not just like it's not just like I said, like one event happened and then you're just sad. It's something that you just feel. You feel like there's like a cloud in your head all the time. Sometimes you just break down for seemingly no reason at all, and you just don't know if there's a way to make it stop. You don't know if there's a way to just feel normal again. And like I said, if I talked to myself 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, and I said that maybe you can feel normal, you will feel normal again, I would have not believed it, because it just seems so impossible for me to go from where I was being suicidal and abusing drugs to a point where I can be happy, like genuinely happy. It's crazy, I know. I even was talking to my parents on the phone the other day, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're smiling so much. Like, what happened?" Like so it's just like you can get to a point where you're not miserable all the time and you're not depressed. You don't have that fog in your head. You can actually concentrate. So the first thing I did, like I said, was I quit abusing drugs. I had to quit all of the things I was taking, because what they were doing was masking the pain, masking the deep-rooted issue. So that was the first thing I had to do. You have to quit drugs. You have to quit whatever you're doing. If you are doing anything, just quit it. Like, maybe you can make an exception for caffeine or something like that, but just make sure that you're aware that the drugs aren't helping you. They're making it worse. They're just taking that cut that you have, and they're ripping it open. Same thing with alcohol. I'm not saying you have to quit it completely, but if you're using it as a cope like me and drinking all the time, you have to stop. You have to stop that. Maybe only drink once a week. And if it's a problem for you, you have to stop completely. And I guess before I go any further, some of these things are going to be obvious. Some of them are going to be like, "Oh yeah, duh, you have to do that." But like I said, I'm going to go through in order what I did. That way, there's no confusion, and you can start off small. You can take as much time as you want on this. This list that I'm going to go through, it probably took me like 2 years to go through all of it. So about 2 years ago, I quit drinking and I quit doing drugs, and after that, I progressed to the next step. So one of the things that amphetamines does to you is it makes you not want to sleep. So what I had to do was I had to fix my sleep. I was staying up for days in a row. So I was like, okay, how do I get over that? So I quit the drugs. I started going to sleep on a set schedule. And at first, this is really hard. So what you can do is, I wouldn't recommend taking melanin, the pills melanin, but what you can do is take, what is it? The Z-Quil. I can't remember what the scientific name for it is, but Z-Quil. Just look it up, you'll find it. And that will help you get to sleep. And don't use it all the time, only if you're having trouble. For me, I couldn't sleep at all. I had, what is it? Not narcolepsy, the opposite. I just couldn't sleep. Insomnia, sorry. I had insomnia from, probably from all the drugs. I wasn't able to sleep. So I had to take that at first to get me to sleep, get myself on a schedule. And after that, sleeping only 8 hours. If you're one of those depressed types that sleeps for 10 hours, you have to cut that back. You're going to start setting alarms, because sleeping too much is bad and sleeping too little is bad. You're going to sleep from 7 to 8 hours. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people aren't doing it. And I think sleep is one of the biggest factors to contributing to that constant fatigue that you get from depression. So the next thing I did was I started rounding off my diet, because I don't think I had eaten a vegetable in years. Maybe not years, but you know what I mean. I didn't eat vegetables. I didn't eat fruits that often. I usually just ate the same foods every day, and it just isn't that good. I would, I'm the type that would just order a pizza, and then I would just eat the pizza for the day, and that would be it. So what you have to do is you have to actually eat healthy. And I can thank one of my ex-girlfriends for that. She actually forced me to start eating healthier, because she was cooking for me. So yeah, you could just get healthier foods. It will make you feel better, I promise. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fix your sleep, and you're gonna round your diet. Like, make sure you're eating healthy. Make sure you're eating, a good diet. So like I said, vegetables, you might not like it, but you're gonna have to do it. So the next thing, this one is kind of a weird one. So when you're really depressed, when you're really fatigued, what you get is you're not going to want to get out of bed, and when you're not getting out of bed, your body's going to stay in that fatigued setting. So one of the things I started doing was this breathing exercise, and I don't want to demonstrate now. Maybe I'll make a video about it, or even link something in the description. But what it is you're going to be at a point where you're not going to want to get out of bed, so you're going to have to basically get your body moving without actually moving. And like I said, if you get to a certain level of depression, you're really not going to want to move. You're not going to want to get out of bed. You might even lay in bed for days. So this breathing exercise will be the first step into getting out of bed, getting moving, stretching out a little bit like that, getting your body going to the point where you can maybe go work out or something like that. So like I said, the first thing you're going to do is this breathing exercise. I'll link it somewhere in the description, and then you can do it yourself, and it will help you feel energized even without doing anything. Now, I put that before this next one because you're going to need this one for the next one. And the next one is cardio and working out. You're going to need to start moving your body. You're going to have to start using your body. And I always was into lifting weights, so I had to get back into lifting weights. And you're going to have to do a little bit of cardio. I know it's cardio, but maybe just like jump rope for like 5-10 minutes before your workout or something like that. You're gonna have to work out because your body isn't moving. It's in a very idle state, and that's bad. You don't want that if you're depressed, because it just makes things so much worse. Like I said, this might be really hard to do. So what you're gonna have to do is do those breathing exercises first, and that will give you the energy to get out of bed, and even just go for a walk. Like anything, just move, get out of where you are right now, get out of your apartment and go for a walk, go to the gym, do some push-ups, do something. Just do something to get moving, because sitting around is probably the worst thing you can do while you're depressed. So this next thing is probably one of the most complicated, the most personal, and the most personalized thing that I'm gonna probably put on this list. And this one is, you have to meditate on your own mind, introspective thinking. And this is for the people who don't know why they're depressed. Like me, I had no idea what it was that was making me so sad all the time. Why couldn't I move? Why didn't I feel motivated? Why didn't I want to do anything? I had to figure that out in my brain, because I had felt this way for years. And when something is around for that long, you kind of I don't want to say you forget, but you don't make those same connections. So you're gonna have to find the root cause. And in the business world, we call it a root cause analysis. So what you do is you pick the problem. What is it that you're feeling, and then you just backtrack over and over again. And this is gonna take a long time. I still do it today. What you're gonna do is you're going to get a notebook or something like that. You don't need a notebook, but a notebook helps. And you're going to just start writing. It doesn't matter what you write. I remember the first time I wrote, writing is stupid. I hate writing. It takes too long. It's too slow. It's not as fast as I can think, blah, blah, blah. I just wrote that for like an entire page. And then I eventually, as you're doing that, you eventually move into something that is bothering you in your head. And when you find that thing that bothers you, you just keep going down that trail. And then after you finish writing, you close it and you go to sleep. So you do this before you go to bed. You close it, you go to sleep, and then the next morning, sometime during the next day, you read what you wrote. And then you reflect on it, and then you keep going. You keep writing after that, you keep going. This is gonna take a lot of work and a lot of time. Like I said, I still do this, and I feel way better, I guess I feel better than I used to. So what you have to do is you write, reread what you wrote, and then keep writing. And you're just gonna keep going until you find out what that root cause is. And maybe after you're done, you can burn your notebook so nobody sees it, because you just let your mind run. Don't hold back. It's literally just you in the notebook. So just write whatever you're feeling. Nobody's gonna see it. Don't worry about it. So, and that will help you find out what the root is. Now, for me, I didn't want to go to a therapist, or I didn't want to, take medication, because I think those things, I don't know, they're just not for me. I don't want to talk bad about anyone who does those things, but I think that it's just not for me. I didn't want to take medication. I'm a very self-reliant person. I didn't want to talk to a therapist because I didn't even trust most of my friends with the information, let alone some person I didn't know. So that's why I didn't want to talk to a therapist. I know it's their job, and maybe some people feel comfortable with them, just wasn't for me. So I did it this way. I did all the writing, and I would reread, analyze, and go from there. Okay, so I think the next thing that I did was I found something that would give me emotion, make me feel something again, something other than just down. Like I talked about earlier, when you feel depressed, it's literally, you just feel down and you don't know why. Like you think back like, oh man, when I was a kid, I didn't feel this way. So why do I feel this way now? And you're like, can I just be normal again? Can I just be normal again? That's all I want. And you have to find something that can bring you back to that, bring you back to feeling normal, or just feeling something. For me, what I did is I found something that actually made me feel fear, and that fear, that adrenaline shot, made me feel alive again. It made me feel like, wow, I don't feel dead inside anymore. I feel this fear, I feel this adrenaline, I feel like I can do something again. And I also started listening to piano music, and I found a genre of piano that I really liked, and it made me actually feel something inside. I was like, wow, this is making me feel really good listening to this. And what you have to do is you have to find that thing, whatever it is. It could be music, it could be movies, it could be video games, whatever it is, you're gonna find it, and it's gonna make you feel something, just something. It doesn't have to be a good feeling necessarily. Maybe it makes you cry, maybe it makes you happy, maybe whatever, it doesn't matter. Just find something that makes you feel again, because that depressed mindset is a mindset that can't feel anything. It's like that cloud of just constantly down. So the next thing is you're going to wash your body, and that sounds kind of weird, but you're going to clean yourself up. Basically, you're going to shave, you're going to cut your hair, you're going to make yourself look presentable. Because when I was really depressed, I did not look presentable. I didn't dress well. I was basically always in my pajamas. I didn't shave that often. I never cut my hair, stuff like that. I looked like a mess. I looked like a caveman. I looked like a drug addict, which is what I was. So you have to clean yourself up, be presentable, and when you get presentable, you're going to walk around. That's it. You can walk around, just be presentable. Even if you're in your own apartment or your own house or whatever, just be presentable. Even if you're just at your computer all day, don't be in your pajamas. Wear, I don't know, just throw in some jeans and a t-shirt or something like that. Just make sure if someone walked in right now, they wouldn't look at you and be like, what was this dude like? Okay, is he doing okay? Like, that's what I mean. Just be, you know, just try and look good. Okay, just do your best to try and look good. That's basically what I'm getting at. So now that you're presentable, and you look good, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to reconnect with your family or your friends. Because when I was depressed, I didn't talk to my family at all. I never called, I never texted, nothing. I was literally just ghosted my entire family for a really long time. And that's something I regret. And I'm sure they were very worried about me. And my friends, I kept in touch with some of them, but a lot of them I just didn't talk to anymore because I didn't have energy to. I didn't have energy to focus on that. I just wanted to be alone. So what you have to do is, if you don't have family, get friends. If you don't have friends, I don't know, go meet some people or something like that. Now, there is a little caveat here, and if you were like me and you abused a lot of drugs and you have a lot of social anxiety because of it, stuff like that, then, or maybe you just have social anxiety from nothing, I don't know. What you're gonna do is meet people online. And I don't mean like Tinder. I mean like Discord or something like that. Like, I had a lot of social anxiety at first, like a lot of it. I didn't even want to leave my house. I didn't want to leave my apartment, whatever. And what I did is I started playing an online game, RuneScape. I started playing RuneScape with, just by myself. And then I met people on there, and then we got on Discord, and we would talk all the time. And that really helped me because I had horrible social anxiety. So if I was just in the game talking on there, then it wasn't so bad because it was just like, me and them. But like I said, you have to reconnect with your family also. They're probably worried about you. So just call them. I don't know what you have to do. Call them. Maybe you live nearby. Go visit. Just like make an effort. Make an effort to go talk. That's basically what I'm getting at. Go reconnect with your brothers, your sisters, your aunt, your uncle, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just someone that you grew up with and you knew from a long time ago. Could be a childhood friend. Just whatever it is, go reconnect with them. Okay? That will help a lot. So this next one is really, really a big one, and this might be one of the biggest ones out there. So this is dopamine regulation, and some people call them like dopamine fasts, and you can dopamine fast in a lot of ways, but I would say that the three biggest ones is, one, stop using drugs. That's one of the biggest ones. So if you're taking a drug that spikes your dopamine, quit it immediately. We already talked about that. Don't use drugs. The next one is porn. Do not watch porn. You can maybe watch it like once a week, once every 2 weeks, but do not watch porn, because when you watch porn, it makes your dopamine levels spike. And I don't know about you, but almost every depressed person I know watches it like daily, at least 2 or 3 times, because they think it's helping them feel something. They get that spike of dopamine, that whatever, just different hormones that make you feel something, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. I'm not coming at this as like the religious perspective of don't watch porn, even though that might be the personal belief, but it's really important that you don't, because this, I'm telling you, it is a big difference. And this might be one of the hardest things on the list, is to quit porn. And the third thing that I was saying with dopamine regulation is social media. If you're the type of person who posts a lot on social media, you get that dopamine spike whenever it's just, social media is a dopamine machine, so just watch out for social media. I'm not saying you have to quit it, just don't use it so often. Maybe, only check it every, you know what I mean. Just limit your social media. Same thing with porn, same thing with drugs. Don't, just be aware that your dopamine receptors are fried right now. This world is created to make you get dopamine hits. I can't remember where I read it, but it was like, dopamine is the drug of the future. So be aware, dopamine is good for you, but it also wrecks your motivation. So if you watch too much porn, you won't have as much motivation. If you scroll through social media, you'll get the same thing. You won't have as much motivation. And it's all because your dopamine receptors are destroyed. So just be aware, go through a dopamine fast, research what that is and how to do it, and then through that, you'll be able to get your dopamine receptors fixed, because it's a really big deal. So the next thing is, you're going to find a hobby, and that hobby can be anything that you like to do, anything that you care about. For me, I got really into chess, and I got really into piano. Like I said, I liked listening to the piano, so I was like, hey, I should play it also, because it was a good hobby, something for me to learn. And chess was another thing. I like I like games that don't have chances, so I played chess, and that gave me something to work at. And if you don't know anything about chess or piano, they both have super high skill ceilings. So I knew that I would never be great at them, but it was something that I could do for fun. And, that's what I did. It could be video games, it could be literally anything that you like to do for fun, and you're going to do it until you get sick of it, and then you're going to pick something else. Just always have a hobby. Always have a hobby, because if the second you run out of like a fun thing to do on your off time, you're just going to be sitting there thinking, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're depressed, is sitting there and thinking, because that's when you get sad. That's when you get depressed. That's why, like, there's like that joke that, the sad hours come at night. The big sad hits at night, and it's real, because that's when you're just sitting there and thinking. So just be aware that you always have to be occupied. Keep your mind occupied. Don't let the sad thoughts come in. Just keep busy with something else. And I know that sounds like you're just coping. You're just hiding the damage, but you're just hiding for a little while you figure it out with your writing and your thinking. Okay, so you can hide it for now, and then when you get better, then you can go back to doing nothing. But until that happens, you're gonna keep yourself occupied so that you don't kill yourself. That's like half a joke. Okay, now the next thing is, this is probably another one of the hard ones. Now, a lot of people who are super depressed aren't working, or they're not working that much, or working a job that they hate. And for me, I was working a job that I hated. I was doing what's called selling your soul, where you get paid a pretty good amount of money, just enough money where you will be okay with selling your soul to some company and doing work that you hate. But for me, they weren't paying me enough. And what I mean by not paying me enough, I mean like nobody could pay me enough to work a terrible job. So I ended up quitting my job, and I quit my job to find meaningful work. This one is huge. Meaningful work. You have to find a job that you don't hate, because if you hate your job, you're going to hate your life, because you spend at least a third of your life at work, a third of your life sleeping, and a third of your life alone. So if you hate who you are for a third of your life, that sucks. You have to fix that. And if you don't, you're going to die. Literally, it will kill your soul. So like for me, I was super suicidal for like at least 2 or 3 years, and that was from the drugs, that was from working a job I hated, that was from being in school. I hated school, all these different things. So you have to be aware that these things, if you hate your life all the time and you always hate what you're doing, you're not going to want to keep living. So you have to, it's not rocket science. If you hate your life, you're going to want to die. So you can't do it anymore. If you hate what you're doing, change what you're doing. Trust me, this is one of the biggest ones. But like I said, do these things in steps. Make sure you're already on your way to healing. Make sure you're already on your way down the list. I don't know how many things are on my list, like at least maybe 15, 20 things. This took me at least 2 or 3 years to go through. So just make sure that you're doing these things in increments. You don't just do them all at once, because it won't be good. You have to take it slow. If you have been depressed for 8 years, it might take you 2 years to heal. This is not an easy process, but it's a process that you need to do if you want to not want to die, if that makes sense. So just be aware that this could take a while. This could really take a while. This is more meant for people with chronic depression, but maybe it can work for people who don't. I don't know. I never had whatever you want to call short-term depression. I've always had this chronic depression. Ever since I was a young teenager, I've always felt this way. And when you feel this way for so long, it takes longer to heal. That's basically what I'm saying. So this is probably the last thing, and the last thing is finding a purpose. A purpose. This is the saving grace. This is the final thing that you need to do to finally just like, this is going to sound really bad, but being depressed is really self-centered. It's really self-centered. It's so self-inflicted most of the time. I'll say most of the time because it's not always, but you know what I mean. It's so self-centered to be depressed. It's all about you. It's all about you. No, you don't think about anyone else. It's like, oh, I just can't. I feel so down. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to help people. I don't want to do anything. So what you have to do is find a purpose. Find a reason to get out of bed. Just any reason to get out of bed. Find a purpose that's greater than yourself to work towards. That's basically what I'm getting at. Find something that's bigger than you to go work for, to push forward, to make the world a better place. Like, that's basically what I'm saying. Find something that you're motivated by, that makes you want to get out of bed and makes you want to change the world. And if you start feeling like that, if you start feeling like I'm helping the world, I'm changing the world with what I'm doing, that will save your life easily. That's the one thing. Because the reason why I'm even making this video right now is because, we're all in quarantine right now. We're not doing anything. And I'm starting to feel some of those like old depressed thoughts come back in. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I thought I was over it. I've been over it for like a year now. So what's going on? And I realize it's because we're quarantined, I'm not able to do my purpose anymore. I'm not able to do what I think that I need to do in life. So it's hard. It comes back. So you always have to be aware that this thing it's always going to be there in your mind. This depression is always going to be there. And that's what I said, like when I say cure, I don't really mean cure. I mean like you get over it, but you have to be aware that you're now prone to it forever. Because I spent maybe a third of my life depressed, maybe even, about a third of my life depressed, maybe more. And you have to be aware that when your mind gets used to that, they always say like the chemical imbalance. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is, but that chemical imbalance, whatever it is in your mind, you're now prone to it. You have like a cut in your brain that is just waiting to get reopened. So you have to be aware that this thing is always there, and you always have to have a purpose. You always have to avoid these things. This is why even now I don't touch drugs, because I'm so worried that if I do, I'll just go right back to it. So right back to being depressed. So when you finally get to this level, this place of healing, is you have to maintain it. And that might be the hard part. So, find that purpose, find that thing that makes you want to get out of bed, find the thing that really gets you going, that thing that you wanted to be when you were a kid, or that cause that you just saw and you're like, man, I need to do something about that. I can't let that go on forever. I can't let that happen in the world. I can't let that exist. So you have to find that thing, and you have to fight for it. And that fight that will give you a will to survive, a will to want to keep living. So I don't know. I guess that's pretty much it. I know I'm like kind of whispering and stuff, but it's late here and I don't live here, so I don't want to wake up people who do live here. That would be rude. So anyway, I hope this helps, because depression sucks. There's really no other way to say it. Depression is the worst thing. I wouldn't wish it on Satan. I wouldn't wish it on the worst person alive, because it's so terrible. It's terrible. Like, if I think back on how I used to feel, and like how I always wanted to die all the time, literally just lay in bed and just like start weeping for no reason and stuff like that. It's like you have to realize that this depression is deeper than you think it is. Maybe you do need help. Maybe you do need to see a therapist. Definitely find some friends who care about you, or family that cares about you, and you have to find at least one person to talk to about it. Don't do it right away. Maybe like do a little bit of writing and a little bit of thinking so you even know what to talk about. It's like, I remember this thing happened in the past, and that was like the trigger. That's what made me start feeling depressed. And ever since then, it's just grown, and things have added on top of it, and blah, blah, blah. And now, just talk like that to your friend. Find someone you can be totally honest with, and that's probably the most important thing. So sorry, I know this is long, I know this is winded, but it's something that I'm very passionate about, because it's something that I went through for so long, and like I said, I wouldn't want anyone to go through it. So if I knew that there was someone out there who understood, because that's the thing, nobody understands. Everyone's just like, dude, why are you so sad? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you sad? That's the thing. You have to find someone who gets it. You have to find someone who gets it, and that could be hard to do. You might find a friend who's just like, dude, just stop being sad. Just, what are you doing? Why are you so down all the time? It's so dumb. You have to find someone who gets it. So I don't know. I guess that's all I got. That's all I got to talk about. So I wish you good luck. I don't know. You can leave a comment, DM me. I don't know if that even works on YouTube, but just like I said, find someone who gets it, and they'll help you through it. So if you need someone to talk to, just DM me if that's even a thing, and I'll respond, man, because I care a lot about this, and I will be willing to help anyone. So that's all I got, guys. Good luck, and maybe rewatch the video a few times if you forget some of the stuff, so maybe take notes. Anyway, probably should have said at the beginning. See you later.